Hey friends, what's up? Derek here from Bomb Socks with more Bomb Bites, where we feast upon the words of Christ one bite at a time. And we are definitely going to feast hard on one particular verse today. It's probably one of the most often quoted, often memorized. I know in seminary devotionals, I hear this all the time, and it is so good, and I never tire of hearing it. It is Helaman chapter 5, verse 12. I've known families that have used this as their family mission statement. It says, "And now my sons," and again, this is Helaman speaking to his sons, Lehi and Nephi. He just told them so many wonderful things. Remember, remember. Again, the power in that word remember. I put this in my footnotes right here with regards to the word remember. Again, we talked about this yesterday, so I don't want to beat it to death, but one possible antonym, and we talked about this yesterday, could be dismember, which means to cut off or disjoin the limbs, members, or parts of something, to break up or tear into pieces. Kind of gruesome, I know. But when we fail to remember, we choose to dismember the memory of something, which then causes us to forget. I will often joke with people and say, what happens when you don't remember? You forget. So here's Helaman. Now, my sons, remember, remember, after all the things he's already told them to remember, that it is upon the rock of our Redeemer, who is Christ the Son of God, that ye must build your foundation, that when the devil shall send forth his mighty winds, yea, his shafts in the whirlwind, yea, when all his hail and his mighty storm shall beat upon you, it shall have no power over you to drag you down to the gulf of misery and endless woe, because of the rock upon which ye are built, which is a sure foundation, a foundation whereon if men build, they cannot fall." One of the ways you could do this is if you're in a teaching setting, you could totally do this. I've done this before. In fact, I'd like to invite you to do the same thing, is to take some time and focus on words or phrases that are in here. One of the things you can do, you can go to words that you think you know the definition of. Look them up. You can Google search it. You can translate it in a different language and then bring it back to your language of choice. There's some cool things that you can learn about the words in here and what it means to really remember to build your foundation on Jesus Christ. So what you can do is you can put in the comment section, I'd love to have you do this, teach us some wonderful things here about this verse. Focus on some words. You can put them in the comments of Facebook and Instagram, YouTube, wherever you want to do this in our podcast. Tell us what you've learned as you've really studied out this verse. For example, one word that I focus on is the word cannot. Okay, it's right there at the very end. Cannot or can't simply means you cannot. You can't do this. In my footnotes right here, I put down cannot. It's not might not or even will not. You may lose your abilities to fall when you choose to build on Jesus Christ. There's so many different words you could focus on as you're studying this out. One really cool thing that I learned recently was from Elder David A. Bednar in his recent conference talk, April 2024, called "Be Still and Know That I Am God." He spends just a few moments talking about this particular verse, and he teaches some wonderful things about this. When Elder Bednar teaches the gospel, it's like I've never heard that verse before. Even though I may have it memorized, even though I've heard it dozens, even taught it many times, he teaches in such a way where he brings new things to light for me. Go ahead and watch this little clip from Elder Bednar's talk, and I think you'll appreciate it with regards to what we are taught here in this verse.
The symbolism of Christ as the rock upon whom we should build the foundation of our lives is most instructive. Please note in this verse that the Savior is not the foundation. Rather, we are admonished to build our personal foundation upon Him. The foundation is the part of a building that connects it to the ground. A strong foundation provides protection from natural disasters and many other destructive forces. A proper foundation also distributes the weight of a structure over a large area to avoid overloading the underlying soil and provide a level surface for construction. A strong and reliable connection between the ground and a foundation is essential if a structure is to remain sturdy and stable over time. And for particular types of construction, anchor pins and steel rods can be used to attach the foundation of a building to bedrock, the hard, solid rock beneath surface materials such as soil and gravel. In a similar way, the foundation of our lives must be connected to the rock of Christ if we are to remain firm and steadfast. The sacred covenants and ordinances of the Savior's restored gospel can be compared to the anchor pins and steel rods used to connect a building to bedrock. Every time we faithfully receive, review, remember, and renew sacred covenants, our spiritual anchors are secured ever more firmly and steadfastly to the rock of Jesus Christ.
You know, I love that. We're actually building a new building right now. The one that we're in right now is about a 200 square foot building. It's where we film our BOM Bites, but it's also where we do our fulfillment for our socks and things like that. And when we originally built this building, it's 4 years ago that we built this, we dug down about 30 inches and put a really solid foundation on this. And it was fun to be able to do that. And now we're building another building, and it's fun to watch how this has come up from the ground, where we've got the foundation, which goes down deep, and you've got the building itself, like Elder Bednar said, connected to that foundation. There's a cool verse I came across from 1 Corinthians, which is a great footnote here. For other foundation can no man lay than that which is laid, which is Jesus Christ. You cannot build on anything else and expect it to work. As Elder Bednar said, the Savior is not the foundation. We build our personal foundation on the Savior. Well, the rest of this chapter has an amazing story. I love the story. It's a hard one to teach, but it's a fun one to read. In fact, like I mentioned yesterday, you can go in and watch the video of this taking place as you see Nephi and Lehi out teaching. You get to see the conversion of a wonderful man named Aminadab. And you also get to see a turning point to the way that we traditionally view Nephites and Lamanites, to where a lot of the Lamanites at this point start becoming more and more righteous than the Nephites. This is an amazing chapter, and I love Helaman chapter 5. I love what we've studied this week. I love the relevance of how Mormon saw our day and how Mormon has taught us to be able to learn from the examples of these individuals. Maybe we learn from their bad example, but we also need to learn from their wonderful good examples that we see in here. I love these chapters, and I am grateful for them, and I know that they are true. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and thanks for sharing these messages as always. So grateful that you do that. If you like what you see, click that like button. You got to go check out our amazingly comfortable gospel themed socks at bombsocks.com. Godspeed. See you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.